Well, this week on Goofy USA, we're going to kind of cruise into our actual story.
Yeah, we actually mentioned this on podcast episode 215, which you can find at our home on the web at stressescamping.com. Go to podcast and look for episode 215.
We are going to go to a town called Vandalia, I think. Vandalia, Illinois, and that town actually served as the state capital of Illinois from 1819 to 1839, and it houses the Vandalia State House, which is the oldest surviving Capitol building in Illinois.
We were rolling through there on our trip across Route 66 when we came upon the Kaskaskia Dragon RV Park.
So the park itself is pretty simple. You just back into some sites right off the road.
Yeah.
You go across the street to the hardware store and check in. And then there is also across the street a liquor store and a car wash and a laundromat and a pet wash. But when you check in at the hardware store, they give you the gold coins for the dragon.
And you're like, huh? Gold coins for the dragon? What dragon would this be?
There is actually a 35-foot fire-breathing dragon on the lawn right adjacent to the RV park.
Yeah, so the RV park isn't really what's goofy about this.
Right.
It's the big 35-foot metal dragon adjacent to the park, and that's the real attraction here.
Yeah. So it was about 1995, and the owner and an employee of the hardware store, I don't know, it was wintertime, they weren't busy enough or something. And so the employee decided as a welder that he wanted to make a dragon. And the owner said, okay, why not? Now, what they actually wanted was just a toy they could play with, and they wanted to have a float in the Halloween parade. And so they did use the dragon for that a few times, or however many times. And because it was so tall, they had to hinge and put a hydraulic lift in the neck of the dragon so that it could bend down to get under the power lines and the underpasses and things like that.
They sort of decided, well, this is so cool, we're going to keep it here on our property.
Right, so they kind of permanently set it down, and then a guy came along, and I think that he, made those like things that keep crop areas warm, those heater things, and he said, this isn't a dinosaur, it's a dragon, and dragons breathe fire, and I could help you make this dragon breathe fire.
And thus it does.
And thus it does.
So those gold coins that we mentioned a few moments ago, you actually feed them to the dragon.
Yep.
And when you do, he breathes, he or she,
I don't know, the dragon.
The dragon breathes fire.
Yeah. So the owner, I read some stuff, and he said that they use a 20-gallon propane tank, which seems like they should be able to use something bigger, but that's what they use, and they go through about a tank a week. So when someone comes across to the hardware store or the liquor store and says, the fire-breathing dragon isn't breathing fire, then they know they have to run and change out their propane tank.
And you can buy more gold coins because, being the typical 12-year-old that I am, I did.
Right. And so that propane lasts about a week in 10-second increments, right? So the dragon shoots fire out of his mouth for about 10 seconds per coin.
And there is a knight there who's being shot at, who's defending the honor of the town. So it's just, I mean, where else can you go where there's an RV park, and it's just a simple park with, a few sites along the highway, and a fire-breathing dragon.
Right. So in case you're wondering about the name, like I was, Kaskaskia, which there's also another town in Illinois farther south of here, of this location, but Kaskaskia actually were a historical indigenous people, and that is where the name came from.
The Kaskaskia dragon is just, it's entertaining, it's fun, it is a fantastic roadside attraction, but you know what it really is?
It's Goofy USA.